Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كل نفس ذائقة الموت. صدق الله العظيم. Beloved viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares an eternal truth in the Holy Quran. He says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul will taste of death. And today we are speaking about the sad leaving of this earthly sojourn of that great poet of Islam, a great lover of Muhammadur Rasulullah, one who was restless for the Ummah and for its prosperity and greatness. It was one early morning in April in the year 1938 that Allama Sir Dr. Muhammad Iqbal breathed his last. He was born on the 9th of November 1877. Therefore, he was 61 years old according to the lunar calendar, and he was 63 he was 61 years old according to the solar calendar and 63 years old according to the lunar calendar, that is the Islamic calendar. And our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam incidentally also left this existence of this world, this earthly sojourn, at the age of 63. But as if Iqbal had written his own ode to his death, he says, "Marne wale marte hai, lekin fana hote nahi. Marne wale marte hai, lekin fana hote nahi. ये हकीकत में कभी हमसे जुदा होते नहीं." There are people and people who die mortally, leave this earth. But in reality, they are still alive and not afar and separated from us. मरने वाले मरते हैं लेकिन फना होते नहीं. ये हकीकत में कभी हमसे जुदा होते नहीं. Allama Iqbal has bequeathed us with his works, with his efforts, with a heritage that is full of life. Because he was not a hermit thinker or an escapist poet. He was always in the thick of battle for humanity. Especially, he was directed by the Holy Quran and the way of life of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he has left us with his jewels, his pearls of wisdom, and he has left us a memory that is lasting. Jo hare insan adam se aashna hota nahi. जो हरे इंसान अदम से आशना होता नहीं. आँख से गायब तो होता है, फना होता नहीं. Yes, those talents and those gifts and those benefits and jewels of a person, of a human being, does not perish and come to nothing. आँख से गायब तो होता है, fana hota nahi. At times it may not catch our sight, but he is always there and does not reach perdition and does not perish. So Allama Iqbal is still alive in the hearts of many, and still he inspires so many people at all times. And he came at a right time, a time when we were in the throes of colonialism. We were becoming slaves of the West. People were becoming atheistic and materialistic. And Allama Iqbal came with the message of the Quran and with the example of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was talented, many faceted talents he had. He was not a one-dimension man. And people who knew him could easily say what he said. He said, Wali bi rind bi shair bi kya nahi Iqbal. Wali bhi rind bi shair bi kya nahi Iqbal. Hisab hai koi kam bakht ke kamalon ka. Yes, people saw him as a man of God, attached to God. They saw him as a fun-loving human being. And they saw him as a poet. What did they not see him as, O Iqbal? Is there any calculation and count as to this rascal's talents and achievements? Is there any count? Yes, he was many-faceted and he was accomplished in most of the things. And of course, people misunderstood him because they wanted a person with outward paraphernalia of a Muslim of that time, or a learned of that time, or one who gives his opinion on Islam of that time. And some of them even tried to throw him out of the pale of Islam and began to criticize him. He didn't mind, but he knew where he was. In Sufiyo Mulla ko khabar kya mere junu ki, inka sare daman bhi abhi chak nahi hai. These so-called Sufis and Mullahs, what do they know about the stage I have reached towards the divine? Their outward garments are there, but knowledge has not even pierced their outward garments. And of course, there were people and people. And Allama Iqbal speaks about, in one poem, about one of the self-righteous learned who, after analyzing Iqbal, says that he does not know what this person is, this Iqbal. And Iqbal says, Iqbal bi Iqbal se agah nahi hai. Oh, preacher, Iqbal bi Iqbal se agah nahi. Iqbal himself does not know who Iqbal is. Kuch isme tamaskhar nahi, wallah nahi hai. I am not making a joke of this. It is a reality. Wallah, by God, it is a reality. So Allama Iqbal, according to Muslims who love Allah and His Rasul, know that he was one of the finest persons who was fully occupied in the welfare of the Muslims, not only in his writings, but he attended to the needs of everyone. He was busy in teaching at university. He was busy in trying to bring about some sort of justice under the British system. And he was busy looking at the plight of the Muslim. He was well qualified for it, because no other Muslim thinker or scholar of that time, and I would say today even, was as familiar with Western philosophy and writers as Iqbal. Even today, who is really as qualified as Dr. Sir Muhammad Iqbal? And we find that people are really being benefited by what he told us and what he preached to us. And he wants us to come into the 20th century full of knowledge and understanding, and full of the knowledge of what is our status as Muslims and what is our aim. So therefore, we say to him, Allama Iqbal, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you Jannatul Firdaus, and may we really take you as a guide who loved the Muhammadur Rasulullah and always preached the Holy Quran to the Ummah. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
العز للعبد الذليل تبلغ بالقليل من القليل من القليل وهي السد للسفر الطويل وهي السد للسفر الطويل